Today, we're gonna see if we can actually use ChatGPT to design a water feature, and then we'll bring it to life. Hey guys, so this is gonna be a first for me. We're going to prompt ChatGPT to help us design a water feature for an actual front yard space. This is for a customer, and then we can hopefully take that and turn it into something very similar to what ChatGPT comes up with. I do have an idea on what I'm looking to accomplish. Normally in situations like this, if we're going to be doing something where we're going to provide a visual before we do a project, we'll do a hand drawing, something like this, which can get quite expensive because when we're doing colorized renderings, it's a lot of man hours involved in something like that. There's all the measuring and stuff that's going to go on. In this particular situation, we're just going to feed a picture into ChatGPT, and I'm going to prompt it and see what it comes up with. Okay, so here's where I started. I took 2 pictures of the space. This is going to be a 360-degree water feature that's going to be in a front island for a driveway entrance. So you can enter off of either side of the driveway, and the house is back behind it. And I asked ChatGPT, based on the 2 pictures of this driveway island space, provide a conceptual image of a custom fountainscape in the style of Atlantis water gardens from Morris Plains, New Jersey. It should feature a 360-degree view of waterfall or origin. In the center would be approximately 3 feet high. So I did give it some dimension with a 50-inch Aquascape patio bowl incorporated, spilling, and then in parentheses, spilling out of the bowl with a notched ribbon waterfall approximately 4 inches wide, and a large Aquascape stack slate urn. Now, this is where I started, and I just wanted to kind of see where I could go from there. And from there, it just tells me what it can do. It can generate a conceptual image and ask me to upload the photos. So here is where we started with the photos. This is the street side. So as you're pulling up to the house, this is the view from the street side. As you can see, the house is beyond the island. I wanted to have a waterfall you could see from this side as well as the back side. So the second picture I used was from the backside. Now, there used to be an old tree here that was dug out, but we've got a pretty wide open space. There's only a couple plants that are actually in the bed itself, so we're not working around too much. These grasses that are here are coming out. So I wanted to see what it can come up with, kind of mirroring on both sides, a similar fountainscape waterfall design that's going to be visible from both sides, and something that's really quite impressive and spectacular as you pull in and then looking out from the front door. So once I uploaded the photos, this is what it came up with. Now, this is not really what I was after. We don't do waterfalls like this with all these small rocks. It kind of gave me a very generic looking small bowl here, and then the urns look pretty anemic. So we've got one here that is really not going to work right next to the curb. That's not even feasible. And it doesn't give me a whole lot of room here to put a reservoir in as well. And it's giving us volcano feel right here, which is, if you've seen any of our work, we really are trying to stay away from that. We want to definitely spread this out so it gives us a great origin point coming from the center. Now, to be fair, it did give us about a 3-foot high origination point. It did involve a bowl, and it also had some semblance of an urn. So from there, I had to prompt it some more. So I said, this should be a 360-degree view that can be seen from the street as well as the front door. Make several narrow waterfalls, start from the center, incorporate larger boulders, and build the stack slate urn into the rockwork. Now, I'm really trying to get more customized, like what we do with our fountainscapes and waterfalls, just with words. And you'll see as we go along, I'm going to have to definitely feed it some more information. So it kind of gave me the same thing again. It really didn't change much. Maybe just like brought the view in a little bit, but nothing much changed here. So at this point, I'm thinking this is not going to work because it's not making any changes as we're going along. So I had to feed it some more information. So I had a great example from one of my friends over at Tussie Landscaping, something they had done in the middle of a driveway. So I uploaded that, which is a great picture here. And I said, use these photos as inspiration to create this fountainscape with the decorative pieces built into the waterfalls and larger 3x3 boulders for the rockwork. So I wanted to get away from that small rock that we saw in this picture with all these little cobbles. I want more boulders like we would normally use in any of our water features. And now we're getting somewhere. So now the urns look better. They look more like the stack slate urns that we use. The boulders are larger. We're getting pretty large and monolithic with this thing though. I kind of wanted to make it so it's maximum 3 feet high. Right now we're looking at like 5 or 6 feet high as far as a water feature, and there's way too many urns on the right side. It's getting the idea with the bowls. Like I do like this here where the bowl is spilling out. This is something we do quite often, cutting a small notch in the bowl and having like a horsetail type waterfall. I love this up here where we've got the ribbons of water falling out of this bowl. So it's got the idea. The layout is not really there yet. And again, the rock work definitely is much larger instead of those small pieces of rock like we had here. So at least we're going in a better direction here. In order to take it further, I said remove the spill bowl on the top left as well as the two highest urn pieces. Because again, it was just too large. It's too high, too much going on with the height right now. I want to bring this thing down and make it so that it fits better in the space, maybe even spread it out some. So this is what it gave me. It pretty much redid the whole thing. Instead of just doing what I asked it to do, which was just remove those two pieces, it gave me a whole new water feature, which is not what I wanted because I kind of like the direction we were going. I just want to fudge things a little bit to kind of get what I'm after, but now I'm going backwards. So at this point, I've got to reprompt it and say, leave the original structure in the previous rendering, but just remove the top spillway bowl and the two highest urns in the image. Also, show the view looking from the front door out towards the island. Also, lower the rock work down about 1 foot. So I was trying to tell it what I wanted through this prompt, and this is what it came up with. Completely different than even the last one. We're going awry here, and somehow now I've got an orange cone in the middle of the water feature. I'm getting frustrated at this point. Now I'm like, okay, so no, this is not what I'm after. Like we caught a glimpse of what we wanted to get, but now I'm having a hard time wrangling it back to what I wanted. And what it did here was, if you notice these posts here, I think it was trying to give me a view from a house, only I'm standing in the street here. So instead of looking from this angle, because I did give the picture from this side as well, it just, I guess, superimposed the house from where I'm standing here to make it seem like I'm looking at the other side. So it's not giving me the 360 that I'm after either. So let's keep going. What I did was I went back and I went to the picture that it had originally given me. So I actually tagged that and I responded on that picture. I said, leave the structure of this design in place, but lower the rock work from the top approximately 18 inches. Remove the top spillway bowl, remove the two highest urn pieces, and let me see the view from the front door as well. And it just took everything out. It completed, now we've got like a fifth rendition of a waterfall with no urns, no bowls, and it's definitely not what we're trying to accomplish. Again, it's giving me the idea that I'm in a house here, I guess from this side, with these pillars and that cross beam up top, but it's not understanding what I'm after. And it's probably me not understanding how to prompt it properly. But again, this is my very first time using this, so I'm impressed with what it came up with that one picture, but now I'm gone way backwards. Like we're way off track here. So it's telling me here's the updated concept based on my instructions, top spillway bowl removed. It's telling me all the things that I asked for, but it didn't give me what I was hoping to get. It tells me it gives me a cleaner, more open view while maintaining the natural look with large boulders and a balanced waterfall structure. Do you want me to create a full 360 version so you can see how it looks from all sides? That way you can fully visualize it before the construction. Yes, create a 360-degree view with two large urns incorporated as well as one spillway bowl. So this is what it gave me. We're getting somewhere. I don't know what happened here with the curve, but now all of a sudden I've got a curve that surrounds the whole thing. It's taking some liberties with what I'm asking for, but we're getting closer. Now, it's still not giving me the 360 view. It's giving me the 180 view. I'm looking here. There's no other pictures attached to it where I can see the other side, but it's telling me here's a conceptual rendering of your 360 fountainscape design with your requested changes and telling me all the changes I asked for. And it asked me if I want to create additional perspective angles around the island so I can fully visualize it before construction. It would give you a complete 360-degree walk-around view, which would be awesome because I'm going to show this to the customer. Full disclosure, so before I'm getting into doing this, I actually said to the customer, I would like to try and use ChatGPT to see what I can come up with and see how close it gets to what I'm visualizing and what we talked about. And he was totally cool with it. So I was hoping we would get maybe like a 360 AI generated video, or at least like pictures from multiple angles that I could use. And again, When I asked for that 360 walkthrough, it changed the water feature again, and it just gave me a front view of it. It refuses to do what it tells me it's going to do, but it still looks pretty cool. Like this is close. This is close to what I'm after. At this point, I just am understanding it's not going to give me the other side of it. No matter what I say to it, I'm missing something, obviously. I don't know how to prompt this properly, but it will not give me the backside of the water feature. So at this point, it's telling me it created an additional perspective of the fountainscape so you can better visualize it, when in reality, it's the same exact perspective it's been giving me the whole time. It's saying it can generate 3 or 4 more angles so I can do a complete visual. Would you like me to do the extra angles now? I said, yes, please. And it gave me another different water feature. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I have to narrow this down where I can at least just see one side of it, and I can kind of walk the customer through what the visual is going to be for the other side, because we're gonna pretty much mirror it. It's not going to be exact, but it's going to be the same elements with the waterfalls and the urns as well as the bowls. And it thinks it's doing a great job. Says, great, here's another perspective so you can visualize. And at the bottom it says, do you want me to create the remaining angles for the complete 360 walkthrough? And again, yes, complete the 360 walkthrough. Now it's giving me a different angle. Here's the garage door that's on the left side of the house, so I am looking at this from a different angle, but I'm looking at a different water feature as well. It's not even close to what we initially came up with. So at this point, I think it changed actually, no, I'm looking at it, it changed the house as well. That's not what the front of the house looks like. Interesting, like what happens in the background with some of these AI generated visuals, because it starts to go a little bit rogue, I think, if you ask it too many things. And I'm sure there are much better programs than ChatGPT. I don't know if this is really what this is supposed to be used for, but it's the only thing that I've used, so I figured let me see what we can do with it. Okay, so now it again tells me all the things it did. Do I want a 360 visualization? Yes. Now this is, I'm a couple hours into this at this point, because I'm going around trying to think about how I can, ask this thing to get what I want. And now we're back to somewhat what we were after from the get-go, which is the 2 urns and the bowls, waterfalls. This, I'm pretty happy with the rendition here. It's not gonna be exactly this, but it'll at least help give a visual for the customer. And at that point, I'm done talking to ChatGPT. I'm like, this is gonna have to do. I'm gonna go to the customer with this, and we're going to try and recreate something along these lines, using boulders, using the urns, using the bowls, and then some landscaping as well around it to create a 360 water feature. So let's take it out in the field. I'm going to show you guys what we're starting with, and let's see if we can get it close to what they gave us here. Today, we are in Wyckoff, New Jersey. We've got a driveway island where we're going to be creating a 360-degree water feature. We're going to start by installing a 1,400-gallon reservoir that's going to be able to feed water to all the different pieces we're using here. We've got medium and small urns, as well as some patio bowls, accompanied by a waterfall that's going to be falling on either side of that driveway space. We're looking to get visuals from the front of the house, looking out towards the island, as well as pulling up the street and seeing this beautiful water feature as you enter your home. Which means we're going to use our urns and our bowls to mirror both sides of this, creating almost identical water features, giving us a great visual. This is going to be a unique water feature. We're going to be incorporating some of those fountainscape pieces in between our large boulder work to give it a more of a natural kind of decorative fountainscape feel, something that we're pretty well known for. We've been doing stuff like this for the past 15 years, and I'm excited to see how this turns out. We're going to go ahead and lay out our reservoir, get the excavation done, and install our 84 small aqua blocks to make our 1,400-gallon reservoir.
invincible.
We've got our liner in place for the reservoir. This is what's going to keep all that water inside here when we install our aqua blocks. Before we got this down, we put down a layer of bedding sand, about an inch to inch and a half of sand that's going to give us a nice smooth surface, no jagged anything inside there. Make sure we pick all that stuff out. And then we put down a layer of heavy fabric. We use like a 12 ounce fabric here. It's a nice heavy duty fabric. Then our liner goes in. We're going to put another layer of fabric on top of this. We want to create that sandwich of protection. So fabric on the bottom, fabric on top. No issues with our liner then, right? Then we're going to go ahead and lay out our aqua blocks inside here. And we've got a depression on this side. This is where our pump vaults are going to sit. So down in here, we've got 2 pump vaults. They draw from down here. So they'll be able to access all the water inside this reservoir, which is important. We're running 3 pumps in this situation. I've got 2 SLD 9000s and I've got 1 SLD 7000. I'm going to take those 3 pumps and split them up into various areas, feeding those urns as well as the bowls and the waterfall that's going to originate from the center of this. The idea here is once the aqua blocks are in, I'm going to run main plumbing from those 2 bigger pumps right to somewhere in the center. I'm just going to stick up some stacks, like some 3-inch pipe, hard PVC, like so I can get it vertical, and then I'm going to build around it. When I get closer to finishing on the top, I'll show you what we do to actually disperse the water from there. But now we can go ahead and get our aqua blocks installed, tighten up this reservoir. We're gonna actually pull everything back in and backfill with sand or good dirt, and then we'll lay it back out. On the outside edges, we actually cut the soil down about 3 to 4 inches below the curb. That's gonna allow for any water that does splash outside of the reservoir area to return back into the reservoir. So there's a slight pitch coming back in here. So you can imagine if there was an urn in this situation, splashing water, and it was landing outside where the aqua blocks are, it's still going to be hitting liner, which will be hidden below cobble work or gravel work, and then come back into the reservoir. So we're not going to lose it outside of our footprint. Also, we can then finish right out to the edge, like a nice seamless finish. We're bringing that cobble, maybe some stones, and recess it down so that it looks like it's a sunken in feature, which is going to add to more reality as far as the aesthetic goes. I'm going to grab Boley and Victor. We're going to get our fabric in, get our aqua blocks in, and get this thing finished.
We're invincible.
I want to give you guys an idea what this looks like before we button it all up. Our aqua blocks are installed now on top of our liner and our fabric and all that, and it's perfectly level. We want this thing like really as level as possible because we're going to be setting those urns on here in bowls. And if I'm going right on top of the blocks with some of those pieces, I don't want to have to do like a ton of shimming to try to make that work. We do that sometimes just because not everything's manufactured exact, but as close as we can get it is always better because then we're working from a really good foundation. Over here, you could see our pump vaults are recessed. So we've got lids on here for access to our pumps. Depending on how the rock work goes in here, I may put an extension on this just so we're not burying the lids of these vaults too low, like behind, you know, underneath all kinds of gravel. We want just enough gravel to cover this, depending on how I finish this. But that's something I could easily add on. Right now, I could slip an extension on this without any problem. The other pump is going to be running a manifold, which is going to be feeding all those smaller pieces like the urns and the bowls. So I've got to really be able to control the flow to each one of those pieces individually. So I'm going to probably come out the back of this and I'll be inside my liner. I'll create a manifold with a bunch of T's and ball valves and stuff. I'll probably put some irrigation boxes over it so that I can have access to it and keeps it all nice and neat and not just covered in gravel, because then it's very difficult to actually get to things and service them. Then we're gonna have plumbing coming out on top of the blocks, which will feed those different areas. Right now, the top of these blocks are recessed about 6 inches below that curb. So I've got enough room to put some gravel on top of here. If I'm gonna be setting boulders over the top of plumbing, I can have a nice gravel foundation to do that with without worrying about crushing any plumbing. I probably will cover this entire thing in fabric. The reason I like to do that is because we use a lot of gravel when we're building this stuff. We'll use a 3/4 clean gravel, or some people call it 57 stone, and I'll show you guys that later. But I want to be able to put that gravel wherever I want in here. When I'm setting boulders, I can put gravel down, level things up. I'm going to be filling the inside of this thing with a lot of gravel. That's how we're going to get that good, solid foundation for what's going to go on top of this, and it's going to make things so that we can actually recess boulders, giving us that layered effect, creating waterfalls. So if I cover the whole thing with fabric, I can do all that work, and then where I want the water to return into the reservoir on the outside edges, I'll simply just cut that fabric away. The water can get back in and the system will function as it's supposed to. We're gonna go ahead and pull these edges in. All that liner fabric is gonna come up like a big burrito. We're gonna get these corners folded in very carefully. You have to do that in a certain way so you don't pinch one side of the liner down into one side of the blocks. Then we're gonna go ahead and backfill around this entire thing with some sand and some good dirt, being careful to do it evenly. So we're gonna put sand dirt mix around the entire thing in spots, get it lightly packed in, and then we're gonna go ahead and fill it up. Because if I put just one side backfilled and we started to pack it in, it would push the entire reservoir over, because this is pretty light, it's only plastic. Once everything is actually backfilled properly and it's all tight, this becomes very solid and very strong. And when you start putting layers of gravel on top of this, you could put unbelievable amounts of weight on top of these reservoirs, which is what we're going to do with this water feature. Hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you come back. Notifications, all that stuff. We'll see you on the next one.